Okay, so I've had somebody reach out to me specifically asking for a Liverpool rug to be made. They've told me they've moved into their new house and they're creating a Liverpool themed room, and they wanted a rug to go in there kind of as the centerpiece. Now we've discussed a couple of designs and he wanted this specific Liverpool badge. I believe it's the 1999 badge that they used, as he wanted it to say "You'll never walk alone." He did want a black background, so we've gone with that, with the white border around the whole design. Some of the smaller details have been removed, like the little bird in the crest here, but I have managed to keep some of the other smaller details, as this is quite a big design. We've agreed with 100 centimeters wide by 130 centimeters tall, so it is the biggest one I've made so far, so it should be fun. Quite excited to see what it'll look like when it's finished, but we'll get some cloth up on my frame and then we'll look at projecting the image and tracing it out. I'm just putting the tufting cloth onto the frame, making sure it's as tight as I can get it, going around I think about 4 or 5 times, making it a little tighter here and there. Try and get the lines as straight as possible, as this can make it much easier when you're actually doing the tufting. So that feels pretty good. So after making sure that I flip the image and projecting it onto the canvas, I'm just going over this. I like to use coloured pens, so I've got red, black and green pens, and here I am just going around the whole design, making sure that it's sketched out as neatly as possible. Now just laying the yarn out on the table so that I can start winding it. You can see how much black and white I have here, however I did actually need to buy a lot more, about double the amount shown here. I kept running out of black, so this is what I have. To tell the truth, I don't actually enjoy the winding process. I really enjoy the tufting and the shaving and every sort of thing in between, but with the winding, even though I've got a new winder now which speeds it up considerably, it is quite tedious to just sit there and wind. Now just going to start with the white and thread this through and into the gun. So just going to start with the border. I want to do the outer part of the design first and then kind of start with the lettering, as it's the most difficult, and then once the lettering's done I can move to outlining those and then doing a bit more of the background. Now the lettering is always the trickiest part, but I feel like I did quite good going around it here. I'm still improving, so this should get better with time, but I'm pretty happy with how it came out. Now, as mentioned at the start, this is the biggest rug I've done so far. It was quite a lengthy process to fill it all in, and again I did keep running out of the coloured wool. I think I had enough red and green, but like I said, the black kept running out and I think I had to get some more white as well, so always make sure that you've got extra materials, especially considering you need to try and get the same lot numbers for the colours, as it can affect the finished design. But as it was just the black and white, I got quite lucky there, not needing to worry about it as much. So coming up to the end now, just moving on to the black. Black was probably the longest part actually, even though it's not as detailed, it's just straight lines. Trying to make sure that each one is a equal distance to make sure that the finished rug is level. It's quite difficult, just making sure it's all equally spaced. It does get pretty tiring as it's quite high up there at the top, so when you're holding the gun up, it's quite a weighty gun. It can get quite achy, so make sure to take loads of breaks in between. As you can see here that I'm not doing it all in one sitting. You can see that the lighting keeps changing as well. And that's the tufting finish, so now we can move on to the gluing process. So here I am, just using gloves. I used to use a wallpaper scraper, but it's much easier to just use your hands. You can kind of get it into the cracks a bit more, so much quicker and easier to do that. Now just cutting it off the frame, you might see in a minute, it's actually a lot heavier than I was anticipating, so just to move it across, I wasn't expecting it to be so heavy. I just want to get some of the loose fibres off. I thought I'd start with the vacuum first, so just going over it with a hoover. Then I use I believe it's called a lint scraper in the UK, so I use that to just scratch it off. But yeah, vacuum it, snip all the edges. This part was actually quite difficult because, as you can see, the edges are curling in quite a lot because I wanted to make sure that the rug was quite thick. I didn't want it to be loose or anything, so I did it nice and thick, but that does mean that after gluing, as the glue shrinks a little bit, it does cause it to curl, but this will go away over time, and also after gluing on the back, it will flatten out a lot more. You can see here it was actually quite the fight to get this part on. As I'm rolling along, you can see that it's curling in on me, so a little frustrating just due to the size of it, but other than that it turned out really good, so it's all part of the process. Now we can kind of move over to the shaving bit. So this part, I don't have a flat rug shaver just yet, so I'm using my little shaver just to go over the whole design, making it as flat as possible. It's not hard, but it is a lengthy process, so just making sure to be a little meticulous, make it as flat as possible, which will make the actual detailing a bit easier. Now, one thing I wanted to be careful with here is the white. If you shave the colours first, so here you can see I'm shaving the red, it can bleed into the white and stain it a bit, so you can kind of see here that after I shave, I vacuum it straight away and it will take the red out if you're quick enough, so it was fine in the end, but I was a little nervous going into it, so just going around all of the white edging first. I always like to do one side first before doing the other because I can get some good camera shots. So this is now the longest part of the process, just the shaving and the detailing. I like to sink as much time into it as possible because I quite like the details to be as good as possible. Some people give it a quick shave, but I like to put as much time into it as possible to make it as good as I can get it. You can already see how much cleaner it looks around the bird and the lettering. So yeah, I think it took roughly about 20 to 30 hours total. I am starting to time it actually, because I'm interested just how long it takes, but looking over the footage, it's definitely between 20 and 30 hours, so yeah, that's where most of the time goes for this. But I think it's definitely worth it looking at the finished products compared to how it was before shaving it. So like I said, this part, as long as it takes, I do really enjoy this, just to see the before and after really. So I think that's the shaving done, so I flipped it over, just giving it a quick clean up. I do like to do the edges on the back, so we'll go around that with some black twill tape. Just making sure to glue it bit by bit, not too much. I think it makes the finished design a lot better and a lot nicer. So just go around all the edges. Again, it's quite time consuming, but it's definitely worth it when you see the finished product. Make sure to cut the corners as well, make it as tidy as possible. And now I can stick my logo, and I've got my little labels here. So I'm just going to shave down the sides now and the edges, trying to make it as sort of beveled as I can get it, and then the rug should be finished. So that's the finished Liverpool rug. I am happy with how it's come out. It was the biggest rug I've made to date so far, so it was a very lengthy process, but looking at the finished design, I'm very happy with how it came out, and I did have fun doing it, which is the main thing. So yep, I hope you liked that. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you want to see more rug content, you can check out my channel. There is more to come, so you can look forward to that. If you would like to support me, you can follow me over on my social media. Links are all in the description. Feel free to check out my Ko-fi, where I list my commissions and available rugs for sale. You can also donate should you wish to, which is very much appreciated. Anything that's made there just goes back into the craft, so I can make more art for people to enjoy. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.